Stop scrolling. Look at the pile of change in your car, in that dusty jar, or inside your old piggy bank. Right now. Because hiding between those boring Canadian pennies, specifically the 1991, 1993, and 1998 Elizabeth II Maple Leaf cents, is not just copper. It's a potential golden ticket. One microscopic spike error near the date. One ghostly double die on the word Regina. One misaligned maple leaf. That's all it takes. That's the difference between tossing a worthless cent into a fountain and holding a piece of metal that could rewrite your entire bank balance overnight. These aren't just coins. They are silent, sleeping fortunes minted in Winnipeg. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly where to look on your 1991, 1993, and 1998 pennies. The kind of details that turned a 1911-inch Emperor dollar into a $1.1 million legend. Don't spin that coin. Don't roll that coin. Grab a magnifying glass. Because tonight, we're hunting for a billionaire's mistake. Welcome to the channel. Let's dig. Let's play for first penny. The notion that a simple penny could be worth a fortune sounds like pure fantasy. Yet for a very select few, this dream has become a staggering reality. When we examine the specific coin you've inquired about, the Elizabeth II DG Regina 1 cent piece from 1991 featuring Canada's iconic maple leaves, we must ground our excitement in the sobering facts of numismatics. This particular penny was minted in extraordinarily high volume, with over 831 million pieces produced for general circulation. Consequently, a typical circulated 1991 cent holds a value very close to its face value, with melt and minimum values often cited at a mere $0 due to its bronze composition. Even a pristine, uncirculated example in gem condition, graded MS65, might only fetch between $18 and $19. However, the story doesn't end there. In the world of coin collecting, a microscopic minting error or a flawless, high-grade specimen can defy all odds. A 1991 cent graded at the pinnacle of perfection, MS67, has been valued as high as $405, proving that even the most common coins hold the potential for a small, life-enhancing windfall if you know precisely what to look for. While your 1991 penny is a fascinating starting point, the true legends of Canadian currency that transform owners into millionaires are far rarer and often much older. These are not coins you would stumble upon in your morning coffee change, but rather numismatic treasures of immense historical significance and scarcity. The 1911 Canadian silver dollar stands as a pinnacle of this rarity. It was never released for circulation, with only 3 prototypes ever struck, 2 in silver and 1 in lead. One of these silver patterns, nicknamed the Emperor, sold for a remarkable $1.1 million in 2003 and was later acquired by the Bank of Canada Museum for $734,000 in 2019 to ensure it remained a national treasure. Another king of Canadian coinage is the 2007 $1 million gold maple leaf, a behemoth of pure gold weighing a colossal 100 kilograms, 220.5 pounds, with a diameter of 53 centimeters, 21 inches. With only 6 ever created, one of these massive gold coins was auctioned in 2010 for an astonishing 3.27 million euros, which was approximately 5 million Canadian dollars at the time, cementing its place as one of the most expensive coins ever sold globally. The allure of the bicentennial coin narrative, while extremely popular in online clickbait, requires careful clarification. You will be hard-pressed to find a widely circulated Canadian coin from a bicentennial celebration that is worth millions of dollars. However, there is a kernel of truth buried within this myth that ties back to the idea of a wrong planchette or a transitional error. For instance, during periods when the Royal Canadian Mint was transitioning between metals for coin production, like moving from silver to nickel in the 1920s, some coins were accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal blank. A famous example of a Canadian coin that shattered records due to its metallic composition is not a bicentennial piece, but the 1916 Sea King George V sovereign struck at the Ottawa Mint, which can command values in the hundreds of thousands of dollars due to its gold content and extreme rarity. Furthermore, the 1936 dot cent, a penny minted in early 1937, but bearing a 1936 date due to the abdication crisis of King Edward VIII, is one of Canada's rarest coins. with only a handful known to exist and selling for over $300,000. These examples illustrate that immense value is tied to extreme rarity and precious metal content rather than a broad commemorative theme. The modern era of Canadian coinage has also produced breathtaking pieces that blur the line between legal tender and high-end luxury assets, often fetching prices that rival a down payment on a house. The Royal Canadian Mint continues to push the boundaries of what a coin can be, releasing limited edition, ultra-high relief pieces that are meticulously crafted from the purest platinum and gold and adorned with exquisite gemstones. For example, recent Brilliance 10 ounces pure platinum coins have been released with price tags soaring to 127,999 Canadian dollars and 95 cents. Another spectacular piece, a 1-kilo gold coin, recently set a new Canadian auction record by selling for an impressive $1.56 million. These coins are not for buying a newspaper. They are intentional investments and works of art, often produced in minuscule mintages specifically for high net worth collectors. They represent a class of wealth that is tangible, portable, and steeped in the prestige of the crown and the maple leaf. To transform from a casual coin observer into a potential fortune finder, you must arm yourself with the knowledge of what separates a piece of pocket change from a lottery ticket. The story of the 1991 cent teaches us that perfection is paramount. A coin graded MS-67, a pristine, flawless gem, is worth exponentially more than one in circulated condition. The stories of the 1911 dollar and the dot cent teach us that scarcity and historical anomalies are the bedrock of immense value. The first step in your journey is simple. Do not spin that pile of coins in the corner or crack open the piggy bank without a keen eye. You should be looking for any coin that appears to be missing a key design element, one that looks off-center, or, most importantly, one that is made of an unexpected metal. A 1991 cent struck on a dime planchet, for instance, would be a significant and valuable error. Equip yourself with a good magnifying glass, a digital scale, and a reliable magnet. Most modern Canadian cents are copper-plated zinc and non-magnetic, whereas earlier bronze coins like the 1991 are also non-magnetic. The difference between a penny and a down payment on a dream is often a detail invisible to the naked, untrained eye. Ultimately, while the 1991 Elizabeth II DG Regina 1 cent with its elegant twin maple leaves is likely to be a beautiful piece of Canadian history worth only its sentimental value, the overarching lesson from the world of rare coins is far more valuable. It is a lesson in hope, history, and the extraordinary circumstances that can turn the mundane into the magnificent. The coin that changes your fortune overnight is out there. It might be a 1936 dot cent, a 1921 50-cent piece valued at over $30,000, or a gold sovereign from a bygone era. The next time you receive change, take a moment, look closely, feel the weight of the metal in your palm, and consider the story it might tell. Because in the quiet copper and nickel corners of our daily lives, unimaginable wealth does indeed lie in wait, not as a guarantee, but as a glorious, glittering possibility. So, go ahead and check your collection, your old jars, and those dusty corners. You might just be holding the ticket to a fortune you never dreamed possible. So stay with me because the next copper penny chain yourself answer. Please subscribe to my channel. Coin number 2. A humble penny bearing the face of Queen Elizabeth II and the elegant sprig of a maple leaf could unlock the doors to a billionaire's vault is a narrative that grips the imagination with unrelenting force. When we turn our attention to the specific coin you now hold in your mind's eye, the 1993 Elizabeth II DG Regina 1 cent piece with the classic maple leaves design, we are stepping into a realm where the mundane collides with the miraculous. Unlike its 1991 sibling, which flooded the market with over 831 million pieces, the 1993 edition was struck in comparatively restrained numbers, with a mintage of approximately 808 million coins. On the surface, this is still a staggering figure, suggesting that any given penny found in a parking lot or an old cookie tin is financially unremarkable. Yet, within this ocean of copper-plated zinc lies a hidden archipelago of exception. The coin itself, featuring the third effigy of Her Majesty designed by Dora de Pettery Hunt, is a testament to Canadian heritage, but its true power to transform fortunes rests not in its design, but in the microscopic flaws and metallic anomalies that transform it from a piece of pocket litter into a numismatic holy grail. To truly understand the chasm between a 1-cent piece and a 7-figure fortune, we must first ground ourselves in the sobering reality of the 1993 cent's intrinsic and collector value. A standard circulated 1993 Canadian penny, the kind that jingles alongside loonies and toonies in a car cup holder, holds a face value of just 0 Canadian dollars and 1 cent, and a melt value hovering around a minuscule fraction of a cent due to its composition of 98% copper plating over a steel core. Even a pristine, uncirculated specimen, one that has never been touched by human hands since it left the Winnipeg Mint, typically commands a premium of only a few dollars at best. A coin graded as Mint State 65, MS65 by a professional service might fetch between $3 and $6. This is where the average person's search often ends in disappointment. However, the millionaire's secret lies in knowing that the value of a coin skyrockets at the very top of the grading scale due to the harsh realities of mass production. A 1993 cent graded as MS67, a condition of near supernatural perfection with no visible marks under 5x magnification, is a genuine rarity and can command values approaching $100. While this is not life-changing wealth, it is the first crucial lesson. Perfection in the common is the first rung on the ladder toward the priceless. The true alchemy that turns this copper-plated steel disc into a ticket for overnight wealth lies exclusively in the realm of minting errors and die varieties. The Royal Canadian Mint, despite its world-renowned precision, is not immune to the occasional technological hiccup, and the 1993 penny is a fertile ground for these hidden treasures. The most sought-after anomaly for this specific year is the double die obverse, DDO. Look closely at the letters of Elizabeth II and DG Regina. In a valuable double die error, these letters will appear slightly ghosted or doubled, as if the die struck the planchet twice in an ever so slightly different position. Additionally, the date 1993 itself is a prime target for the rotated die error, where the image on the reverse, the maple leaves, is tilted significantly relative to the Queen's portrait. A 180-degree rotation can instantly elevate the coin's value into the hundreds or thousands of dollars. More dramatic and life-altering is the off-center strike, where the blank coin metal was not seated correctly, resulting in a crescent-shaped blank area on the coin. A 1993 cent with 20% to 50% of the design missing and the date still visible is a lottery ticket in physical form, often auctioned for sums that dwarf the annual salary of a skilled worker. These are the coins that prove the old adage. In numismatics, a mistake is never a defect. It is a divine signature of rarity. But what of the fabled bicentennial coins and the promises of millions? It is here that we must separate the viral clickbait from the glittering truth. Canada did not issue a widely circulated bicentennial penny in 1993 or the surrounding years. The myth of the bicentennial penny is a curious amalgamation of wishful thinking and a misunderstanding of American numismatic marketing. The true Canadian treasures that reside in the million-dollar stratosphere are of an entirely different lineage, far removed from the humble cent. Consider the 1936 cent, a coin born from the political turmoil of the abdication crisis, where a tiny dot under the date signaled a last-minute change in production. With only 3 known to exist, this coin is not merely currency. It is a shard of Canadian constitutional history, valued in excess of $400,000, low-code Naish. Then there is the 1911 silver dollar, the holy grail of Canadian numismatics, of which only 2 silver specimens are known. One of these, known as the Emperor, changed hands for over 1.1 million NUT. The 1993 penny cannot compete with these titans of history and gold. However, it serves as the perfect gateway drug to this world. It is the coin that teaches you to look, to scrutinize, and to believe that something extraordinary can be hiding in plain sight. The path to becoming an overnight fortune holder begins with a simple, sacred ritual. Do not spin that coin. The moment you toss a 1993 penny into a fountain or let it rattle around a charity jar, you might be discarding the key to unimaginable wealth. To unearth this potential, you must become a detective of the microcosm. Acquire a jeweler's loupe with at least 10x magnification and a bright light. Lay your 1993 cents out and examine the obverse, the Queen's side, for the telltale doubling of the letters or the date. Flip the coin and note the orientation of the maple leaves relative to the portrait. If you have to turn the coin more than 15 degrees off axis to align the images correctly, your heart should start racing. Most importantly, weigh the coin. A standard 1993 cent weighs approximately 2.5 grams. If your coin feels lighter, around 2.25 grams, you might be holding a piece struck on a foreign planchet or an older, thinner stock, a discovery that could send shockwaves through the collecting community. Check for coins that look silver or gold instead of copper. These are wrong planchet errors where a cent die was accidentally used on a dime or nickel blank. Such a find from 1993 is not just a coin. It is a financial anomaly worth a small fortune. Let us address the elephant in the room, or rather, the massive golden leaf. The Royal Canadian Mint is a master of creating modern marvels that are worth millions, not by accident, but by exquisite design and pure precious metal weight. While your 1993 penny is a product of mass industry, the Mint has produced 100-kilogram gold maple leaf bullion coins with a face value of $0.0000 R stars. With only a handful ever created, one of these behemoths sold at auction for over $5 million CAD. Additionally, special commemorative coins like the 1993 $200 gold coin Dasby, featuring the Royal Canadian Mint's 85th anniversary, struck in 22-karat gold with a mintage of just over 10,000, can command a value of over $200 in today's market. While these are not the pennies you find under the sofa cushion, they underscore a vital truth about Canadian numismatics. The nation is a silent superpower of coin wealth. The story of the 1993 penny is the story of the lottery ticket that fits in the palm of your hand. It is a reminder that while the 1936 dot and the 1911 emperor are locked away in vaults and museums, the next great discovery is likely sitting right now in an old coffee can in a Canadian basement. Therefore, take a deep breath and look at that pile of coins in the corner, not as a nuisance, but as a potential armada of sleeping fortunes. The 1993 Elizabeth II DG Regina cent is a perfect symbol of this hidden hope. It represents a year of transition, a specific chemical composition of copper and steel, and a specific die from the Winnipeg press. In 99.999% of cases, it is worth exactly what it says on the tin, 1 cent. But for that 1 in 10 million chance, for that perfect storm of a misaligned die, a grease-filled letter, or a wrong metal blank, it is the physical manifestation of the American and Canadian dream. It is the coin that could change your fortune overnight. Do not let the skepticism of the mundane world dull your senses. The difference between a billionaire's windfall and a piece of pocket change is not always a vault of gold bars. Sometimes it is a single, perfect, and gloriously flawed 1993 Canadian penny. So, go ahead, pick up the coin, feel its weight. You might just be holding the future in the palm of your hand. Coin number 3. The forgotten coin promising a life of unimaginable luxury is a narrative so potent it transcends borders and generations. As you hold the 1998 Canadian penny, a small, seemingly inconsequential disc of copper-plated zinc bearing the dignified profile of Queen Elizabeth II and the elegant twin maple leaves, you are holding a piece of history. This particular coin was minted in a year of transition and quiet abundance, with nearly 1 billion pieces, 999,578,000 to be exact, rolling off the presses of the Royal Canadian Mint in Winnipeg. On the surface, this staggering number would suggest that your 1998 penny is worth exactly what it says it is, 1 cent, or perhaps a fraction more for its copper content. For the vast majority of these coins, this is the unvarnished truth. A coin plucked from circulation, dulled by the friction of 1 million transactions, holds a value that rarely exceeds its face value. Even a pristine, uncirculated specimen, one that has miraculously avoided the scratches and wear of daily life, might only fetch a few dollars in the open market. A Mint State 65 example, for instance, is valued around $21.90, while a near-flawless MS-67 can command closer to $198. These are not figures that fund retirement. They are the subtle rewards of a careful eye and a patient hand. Yet, it is precisely within this ocean of commonality that the miraculous possibility of a sleeping fortune resides. The true alchemy that transforms a 1998 penny from pocket change into a numismatic treasure is not found in its intended design, but in the glorious imperfections of its creation. The Royal Canadian Mint, despite its world-class technology, was not immune to the occasional mechanical hiccup. The year 1998 is a particularly fertile hunting ground for specific types of minting errors that can multiply a coin's value 1,000-fold. The most sought-after anomaly for this vintage is the spike error. This error is not a dramatic misstrike that leaves a crescent-shaped blank on the coin, but rather a subtle, almost ghostly blemish that can only be seen under magnification. It manifests as a distinct raised metal line, or spike, emanating from the lettering, most famously observed near the word legend or the inscription cent. This spike is caused by a crack or a gouge in the die, the hardened steel stamp, used to impress the design. As the die degrades, it leaves a telltale raised line on the surface of every subsequent coin it strikes. While not as valuable as a fully doubled die or a wrong metal planchet, a well-defined spike error on a 1998 penny can still ignite a bidding war among specialized collectors, potentially elevating its value from mere cents to a few $100s, proving that in numismatics, a flaw is often a feature worth its weight in gold. To truly unlock the door to a seven-figure fortune, however, you must look beyond the familiar confines of the humble 1-cent piece and cast your gaze toward the giants of Canadian numismatics. The promise of bicentennial rare coins worth millions is a pervasive myth online, but the reality of Canadian coin wealth is far more spectacular and grounded in the monumental use of precious metals. The undisputed king of this realm is the 2007 $1 million Canadian gold maple leaf, ASK, colloquially known as the Big Maple Leaf, BML. This is not a coin you will find under a sofa cushion. Conceived as a showpiece to promote the Mint's new line of ultra-pure gold bullion, this behemoth weighs a staggering 100 kilograms, over 220 pounds, and is crafted from 99.999% pure gold. With only 6 ever created, this coin is a work of art and a financial fortress in one. One of these giants was sold at auction in 2010 for an eye-watering 3.27 million euros, which at the time equated to nearly $5 million CAD. Furthermore, its melt value alone, based on the spot price of gold, perpetually hovers in the multi-million-dollar range, making it a tangible symbol of the kind of wealth that can, indeed, change a fortune overnight. The legend of Canadian coin wealth is further enriched by the existence of the 1911 silver dollar, a numismatic unicorn known as the Emperor. This coin is so rare that it was never actually released for public circulation. Only 3 prototypes were ever struck, 2 in silver and 1 in lead. These pattern coins were meant as tests for a new design that never came to be, and as a result, they exist as the ultimate Canadian numismatic trophy. The story of the Emperor is the stuff of collectors' dreams. In 2003, a Calgary-based collector named George H. Cook acquired one of these silver patterns at a public auction for an astonishing $1 million. After his passing, the coin was sold once more in 2019 for $734,000 to a group of Canadian dealers who ensured it would be housed in the Bank of Canada Museum, preserving this irreplaceable piece of national heritage for the public sphere. The journey from discovering a common 1998 penny to joining the ranks of these million-dollar titans is a path paved with meticulous scrutiny and the right tools. The difference between a penny and a down payment on a dream is often a detail invisible to the naked, untrained eye. Do not simply glance at the pile of coins in the corner. Interrogate it. Equip yourself with a jeweler's loupe offering at least 10x magnification and a bright light. Lay your 1998 cents out and scan the area around the word Canada in the maple leaves for any sign of that telltale raised metal spike or die crack. Examine the rim for any signs of being struck off center, a condition that can range from a minor 5% shift, worth a modest premium, to a dramatic 50% off-center strike, a significant error worth hundreds or even thousands. Furthermore, while the 1998 cent is composed of copper-plated zinc and should be non-magnetic, any deviation in weight or a strange silver sheen could indicate it was struck on a wrong planchet, perhaps a blank intended for a dime or a foreign coin. Such a find is not just an error, it is a financial anomaly, a genuine lottery ticket hidden in plain sight among the mundane copper discards of a bygone era. The Royal Canadian Mint has a long and storied history of producing pieces that blur the line between legal tender and high art, and recent sales continue to prove that the Canadian coin market is a silent titan of global wealth. In November 2024, the numismatic world was once again set ablaze by the sale of a unique, one-of-a-kind 10-kilogram pure gold coin, a masterpiece titled The Dance Screen, the Scream 2. This breathtaking piece of bullion art sold for an incredible $1,561,250 at a live auction conducted by Heffel Fine Art Auction House, setting a new Canadian record. This sale serves as a stark reminder that the next great fortune is not always buried in the past. It is often being minted right now in the present. Therefore, the story of the 1998 Elizabeth II DG Regina 1-cent piece is a profound parable of hope and hidden potential. In 99.999% of cases, this coin is precisely what it appears to be, a piece of pocket change with a face value of 1 cent. But for that 1 in 10 million chance, for that perfect storm of a die crack that created a spike, or a misaligned press that left the design off kilter, it is the physical embodiment of a new destiny. The difference between a billionaire's windfall and a piece of scrap metal is not always a vault of gold bars. Sometimes it is a single, perfect, and gloriously flawed 1998 Canadian penny. The 1936 dot cent and the 1911 Emperor are locked away in museums and private collections, their stories written. But the next chapter of numismatic history, the next great discovery that turns a diligent searcher into an overnight millionaire, is likely sitting right now in an old coffee can, a forgotten piggy bank, or that dusty pile of coins in the corner of a Canadian home. So, take a moment. Breathe. Do not spend that coin. Look at that pile of loose change, not as a nuisance to be rolled and deposited at the bank, but as a potential armada of sleeping fortunes. The 1998 cent is a perfect ambassador for this quiet, copper and zinc hope. It represents a specific year, a specific chemical composition, and a specific die from the Winnipeg press. In the quiet, solitary act of examining a coin under a lamp, you are not just searching for a scratch or a spike. You are engaging in a treasure hunt that spans the entirety of Canada's minting history. The coin that changes your fortune overnight is out there. It is a silent sentinel, waiting to be discovered by someone who dares to look closer. So, go ahead. Pick up the coin. Feel its cool weight in your palm. You might just be holding the future in the palm of your hand. A future not of 1 cent, but of 1 million dreams.